Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I put out helpful trucking videos, but more importantly, I put out helpful videos. This video is for anyone looking for tips on how to double clutch, float gears, or how to shift standard 10-speed transmission in your truck. I remember when I was in truck driving school, the first time that I got behind the wheel of the truck to go out on the road with an instructor. I got in the truck and I figured I could wing it. I figured I had it. I had no idea we were supposed to double clutch. So I just got in the truck and started going down the road, just floating gears. And the instructor cussed me out. He was like, "What the bleep are you doing? Pull the truck over to the curb." And I'm like, what's the problem? He got behind the wheel and he started double clutching, and he was like, "This is how you're supposed to shift in order to pass your CDL test." And so the next time I got behind the wheel to double clutch, I was trying to do what he showed me, and man, all you could hear was just grinding left and right. I promise you I had a hard time getting down how to double clutch at first, but eventually after some practice, I did get it down pat. Needless to say, it would have been massively beneficial for me to have seen a video like the one that you're about to see, because in this video, I'm going to give you tips and some video clips to go along with it that's going to help you be able to shift like a boss. First, these quick tips, and then on to the video clips of me actually shifting the truck. First tip, shifting the truck is about matching your road speed and your RPMs. If your road speed and your RPMs match, you can shift the truck with no scraping or scratching. If the RPMs and the road speed don't match, you're probably going to hear scraping. Second tip, when you're double clutching to shift the truck, there's really no need to fully engage the clutch. You don't need to go all the way to the floor with the clutch. Third tip, when you're using the clutch to shift, always come off of the clutch slow. It eliminates the jerk in between the shifts. And you'll see shortly in the video clips that you're about to see, sometimes I shift and come off the clutch a little quick, and sometimes I don't. And you can notice the difference in how I come off the clutch by whether the truck jerks or not. The next quick tip, when you are shifting the truck, you need to remember that your shifts are actually two motions. It's not one motion. It's not one continuous shift. It is one shift out of gear and another shift in gear. And again, you'll see that in just a few in the video clips. Next tip about shifting is when I use the clutch to shift, I'm not really using the clutch to shift. I'm actually using the road speed and the RPMs. The only time I'm actually using the clutch to shift, as opposed to just using the road speed and the RPMs to take the truck out of gear and put it back in gear, the only time I'm actually using the clutch to shift is when the RPMs and the road speed don't match. So if I've got a load on and I'm going up a hill or down a hill, sometimes that can throw the road speed and the RPMs out of match, in which case you need to use the clutch to shift in those situations. Another thing that I notice on my truck is in between shifts. My truck normally shifts at about 1,000 RPMs, but when I shift, and this will change depending on whether I'm empty or loaded, but when I shift, I notice about a 300 to 400 RPM drop in between shifts. Now that doesn't mean that you're gonna wait until your truck drops 300 to 400 RPMs before you shift. That just means that you're gonna notice that from the time it takes you to take the truck out of gear and get it back into gear and get your foot back on the pedal, you're gonna notice a difference in about a 300 or 400 drop in your RPMs. So what I'm really talking about here is your shifting range, essentially. Another quick tip I want to point out, which I just touched on, is your truck will shift differently depending on if you got a trailer behind you or not, and based on if you are loaded, if the trailer is loaded or not. So you need to keep that in mind as well. And the last quick tip I'll give you is when you are shifting, a good general rule of thumb is, once you know the shifting range of your truck, the RPMs that your truck needs to be at to shift, you can, there's a range in there. So with my truck, the lower gears, I can shift at a lower RPM. And the higher gears, I normally find myself shifting at a higher RPM. So I want you to keep all those tips in mind while you're actually watching me shift the truck going down the road. Now, I want you to notice two things in the clip that you're looking at right now. When I'm actually shifting the truck, when I'm floating gears, in between shifts, I'm not actually removing my foot all the way off the pedal. I'm just easing back a little bit. So make sure you pay close attention to that so you can actually see, so you can actually tell when I'm easing back off the pedal. The next thing I want you to notice is, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, when you're shifting, it's actually 2 shifts. It's not one continuous shift, it's 2 shifts. 1 shift out of gear and 1 shift back in gear. Now, what you'll notice in this clip is that when I'm floating the gears and I'm downshifting, a lot of the times just by habit, I will use the clutch to take the truck out of gear and use the road speed and the RPMs to allow the truck to go back in gear. So that's what you're observing right now. Now, in this clip, being that I'm double clutching, not only do I want you to take note to how I'm not taking my foot all the way off the gas and how the shift is 2 shifts and not 1, I also want you to take note to how I'm not fully engaging the clutch in order to double clutch. Okay, so now let's see how to properly downshift when you're double clutching. If you're watching this video and you're getting value from it, be sure to smash the like button at the end, because to be quite honest with you, I worked really hard to record this video for you guys. Please pay no attention to the authorized vehicles only sign, because I didn't. And if you can do that, I want to show you one more time how to upshift when you're double clutching and how to downshift when you're double clutching. So there's a lot to shifting the truck correctly. So much so that the only way you're really going to learn how to shift properly, to the degree that you can go from one truck to another and not have any problems shifting, the only way to do that is to actually have time behind the wheel. And even though we're not able to do that via video, I just gave you the mechanics. And if you go out there and execute the tips that I gave you in this video, and you practice them, I promise you in no time, you're gonna be shifting gears like a boss. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here, or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.